Alright, so here we have P6, the transformations of y equals x cubed and y equals cubic root of x. And this is the mother function, y equals x cubed. So I'll do one a little longer than I do on my quiz. We'll start at -2, work our way all the way up to +2. Now if you cube a number, that means you multiply it by itself 3 times. I notice that a lot of my students, they just don't have any number sense whatsoever. So that's one of the areas they struggle with. Anyways, if you take -2 and you multiply it by itself 3 times, you get -8. And if you take -1 and you multiply it by itself 3 times, you get -1. And 0 cubed is 0, 1 cubed is 1, and a 2 cubed is 8. So on your mother function quizzes, I don't require you to do this many points because you're expected to learn your shapes here. 2, 8. So we look something like this. And that is the graph of y equals x cubed. Now its domain is -infinity to infinity, as is its range, because it runs left forever and it runs right, and it falls and rises forever. If you are a fan of set builder notation, that'd be all values of x such that x is an element of the real. And over here, since you're talking about range, it'd be all values of y, such that y is an element of the real. Ta-da! Alright, moving forward. The vertex form, which I've been over and over and over. These things are not linear, they are not straight lines, therefore A is still your initial slope to some degree. More about A. If A is negative, then the graph is vertically reflected. If A is a number between 0 and 1, like 2/3 or something like that, the graph is vertically compressed. If A is bigger than 1, then the graph is vertically stretched, just like it's been for all of them. Yeah, it's simple. Talk about HK. HK is going to be your center here. This thing has a center. Doesn't have a vertex, it has a center. Identify the transformations. So I notice that A is negative, which means that the graph is vertically reflected. I notice that A is -1/2, and the absolute value of a -1/2 is 1/2, which if you just look back at the previous slide is a number between 0 and 1. So I know that the graph is vertically compressed. Alright, I'm going to identify H. Now, if you're sitting at home and you're wondering where Milbrath's getting these numbers, again, I'm doing a line-up process with A times x minus h plus k. I notice that H is not -3. We change the sign. It's 3. This is a horizontal shift, or you might be a kid who likes the word translation, but write 3. And I notice that K is 2, and K is the vertical. It's a vertical shift. Or if you're, again, that kid who likes the word translation, up 2. That's how hard it is to pick pieces out of a form. Anywho, moving forward, g of x is the transformation of y equals x cubed. Identify the transformation. G of x equals -4 times x minus 2 cubed plus 5 in graph g of x and f of x. Take g of x's domain and range. So I'm going to do the graphing first just because. I'll graph mama. This is mama. Alright. The kid is right 2, up 5, right 2, rise 5. Let me change colors there. Right 2, rise 5. And then the kid has a slope. Okay, this is your initial slope of -4. So I'm going to fall 4 and run 1. And I'm going to rise 4 and run 1. This is the kid. I messed that one up bad. Start from the right, work my way left. Sometimes that's easier to draw. And there's the kid. That's how hard it is. It's the same lesson it's been for the last 5 days. Anyways, the transformations. You notice mama starts low, ends high. This king starts high, ends low. We have a vertical reflection. We have a vertical stretch. This kid is growing faster. Factor of 4. We have a horizontal shift. We shifted the kid right 2. We have a vertical shift up 5. Initial slope again was -4. We centered at 2, 5. And since the domain was negative infinity to positive infinity, that is inherited. And on the cubic root function, the range will always be negative infinity to positive infinity as well. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. One more of these, and I think we jump to the cubic root. So g of x is a transformation of y equals x cubed. Identify the transformation g of x equals 2 times x minus 2 cubed plus 5. And hopefully you notice that the problem is this is not in the right form. The form is not usable. So we're going to do a little bit of factoring. Notice how I encapsulate in parentheses. Now I talked about this in a previous lesson. Once you break it apart into the product of two factors, you can distribute that too. And I know, and I hope you know, that 2 cubed is 8. And now we're in the right form. The center is at 1, 5. Change, keep. Let's graph Mama first. I can tell I'm in a hurry. But the center is right 1, rise 5. About right there. And the slope is 8, which is kind of off this chart because that's 3, 6, 7, 8 be about right there. And vice versa, fall 8 and run back 1. And there's the kid. Anyways, domain and range are always going to be negative infinity for a cubic. I really don't care what it looks like. That's what it's going to be. And this thing had 3 transformations. It has obviously been stretched. Obviously. So there's a vertical stretch. Turns out the factor of 8. It has had a horizontal shift. We write 1. Remember, opposite of this sign right there. We have a vertical shift of up 5. Ta-da! Should be moving on to the cubic root, and we are. Graph y equals the cubic root of x. I need to fix that right there. That should say cubic root of x. Too late. Anyways, make a table, x and y, and I'll do this one starting at -8, -1, 0, 1, and 8. The reason I didn't do anything between -8 and -1 is because you cannot easily take those cubic roots. But the cubic root of -8 is -2 because a -2 times a -2 times a -2 is -8. And the cubic root of -1 is 1, the cubic root of 0 is 0, the cubic root of 1 is 1, and the cubic root of 8 is 2. So anywho, -8, -2, -1, -1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 8, 2. So it looks a lot like the cubic root function, except it's, flatter. It's not as tall. Grows slowly, you might say. Its domain is negative infinity to infinity, as is its range. And that's the mama for the cubic root of x. Should only be 2 more. G of x is a transformation of fx being the cubic root of x. Identify the transformation this. Notice that notation right there. That is equivalent to the cubic root written out like that. So they are the same. And the nice thing is this is in the proper form because we can line it up with a cubic roots of x minus h plus k. So our center is going to be at -4, +6. Remember, change, keep. I can tell you right now what our domain and range are because it's a cubic root. They're the same. And our initial slope is this negative understood 1. So we have enough information to graph. Anyways, mama, graph her first. Looks something like that. The kid is fall back 4 and rise 6 with a slope of -1. So fall 1, run 1 to the right, rise 1, run 1 to the left. And there's the kid. Now, the kid is the same height as mama. Okay, we had an initial slope of 1. Signs changed. So the transformations present are, there's three of them. The first one, the kid's been flipped, that's a vertical reflection. The next one comes from H. H was -4. Well, that's going to be a horizontal shift of left 4. And K was 6. That's a vertical shift up 6. Last slide. And it's going to be one of those that's not in the right form. And it's not. You know, your form here would be something like A parentheses X minus H plus K, and we don't have it. We have K. Like, I know that K is 5. That's about all I really know. So I'm going to do a little factoring. Let's go ahead and use a cubic root symbol. We can pull a 27 from both pieces in the middle. Turns out 27 goes into 81 3 times. Now the cubic root of 27, last I checked, was 3, and I forgot my negative symbol. And that leaves me with -3 cubic roots of x plus 3 plus 5. So the center was actually at -3, +5. And the initial slope was not -1, it was -3. And let's do some graphing here. Mama first, always mama first. This is cubic roots, the snakes that like the x-axis. We have to go left 3, rise 5. We're going to fall 3 and run 1 both ways. And this will be the kid. And there we go. While I'm on this one, domain and range is easy. Negative infinity to infinity. Negative infinity to infinity. And then the transformations, and I see 4 transformations. The kid has been flipped around. It rises and falls from left to right. So that's going to be a vertical reflection. That's because A is negative. We have a horizontal shift. We went left 3. We have a vertical shift. We went up 5, right? And the last thing we have is we have a vertical stretch. You know, that kid's slope was 3, ignoring the sign. Factor of 3. And that is it for cubes and cubic roots. I'd love to say I hope you enjoyed it, but the fact is you're being forced to learn math, and you probably are not enjoying it, just to be honest. It wasn't too bad, 13 minutes of your life. I've done worse things for 13 minutes.